Hello and welcome to another episode of Freaky Fettuccine. On tonight's episode, we combine two classic things that make every creepypasta really scary. Number one, it's based on a video game, because if it exists and it's a video game, then it's got to be a creepypasta at some point. And second, random capitalization. For this isn't just your mere FlApPy.exe. This is FlApPy BiRd! You know those video games that you think are so predictable, sometimes there's more than meets the eye. It had been several months ago when the incident had happened. I just moved back to Phoenix so I could study at ASU. There wasn't much us as students could do to occupy time, except for the occasional drink or party. But I promised my mother I wouldn't drink with my being a 3 years recovering alcoholic. But I was 21, and nothing wasn't going to refrain me from temptation, especially not my mother. I was older, and I figured she was just going to have to deal with the fact that I could make my own decisions. Fuck you, Mom, I'm 21, recovering alcoholic out the edge. It had been no later after I had made that conclusion that one of my fellow classmates invited me to a party. With nothing planned that day, I freshened up and left the event with no hesitation whatsoever. When I arrived, I feel the need to mention periods and commas are not a thing in FlApPy BiRd. When I had arrived, I noticed something strange. Everybody had been using their phones, and when I would stop to ask the person what they were doing, all they would respond with would be 2 words: FlApPy BiRd. You know, people just playing FlApPy BiRd instead of being at a party sounds legit, actually, considering how popular FlApPy BiRd was back in the day. It seemed quite hilarious to me, but the looks of the people I asked were so sincere that when I asked one of my friends about it, he had told me not to worry about it. He said it had been taken off the app market due to suicides and threats to the creator of the game. There's a period and then no space, and the objective of the game was to tap her phone screen to make an outdated pixelated bird fly through pipes which resembled the pipes from the original Super Nintendo Mario games. I know I should have ended my curiosity there, but I couldn't. After I had left the party, I had spent all night trying to find a copy of the game, searching all over on my web browser, when I had stumbled upon a link that had the download. The link was vaguely more Blizzard than the other links. God damn it, Blizzard! First Overwatch, and now FlApPy BiRd! I saw that hadn't worked. The most key difference was how the lettering was. Instead of FlApPy BiRd, it read FlApPy BiRd! It was so weird, but I passed it off as a minor glitch. New paragraph. I still chose to download it. Space, period. New paragraph. It had took a while, but it finally opened with the Gears logo in the beginning. Only something was different. The background was more dark than I had seen in pictures before, but I didn't mattered. You're right, you didn't mattered. That seems like it could be a creepypasta all its own. The title, I Didn't Mattered. I continued to play anyways, failing miserably in the beginning, until I began to get the hang of, and that's when things started changing. After 100, the bird's face began to look more grimacing and devious, and the background began to get darker. I thought it was a joke, so I kept continuing on a streak, and after I got to 150, the screen got darker, and the color of the bird began to change to a piercing shade of black, and its eyes had turned crimson, still smiling as if it mischievous thoughts. Mischievous thoughts? Ooh, I am the bird! I tried not to let it bother me and continued to play, and that was when my fingers slipped from the excessive amount of sweat I had produced, being so focused and stressed. Sure, that's what it was. But strangely, there was no game over screen. Instead, the bird just laid on the ground adjacent from the pipe. I had touched the screen to see a reaction, and the bird started flapping again. and then it would have hit the pipe. So even if the ground isn't a thing, you still would have hit the pipe. None of this made sense, but I continued to play to see how the game would end when, after I played for hours and hours, then I finally reached it, level 999. The bird had been completely terrifying, and had appeared to have had blood trickling down its lips with eyes pure maroon, as if it had plans to murder. Why is the bird in the pluperfect tense now? When I heard, capital H-U-R-D, a thud, and saw a pixelated figure dragging itself closer and closer to the bird. It resembled a pixelated corpse of Mario. His screen was pure green with holes, could see white patches that must have been bones. His hat, just as his clothes, was ripped and tattered, and he was rapidly approaching the bird with a limp. When he finally got within distance and bit the bird's head off, the bird's all head, right? And laughed his same laugh as in all the other Mario games, and my phone screen cut black with a statement written in red saying, "You're next." I was completely terrified. I couldn't utter anything out of my mouth. I had realized how a game as playful and misleading as this could lead a person to suicide. Why? Why? I never used the phone I had downloaded it on again, but they say it's still out there on eBay waiting for its next victim. Uninstall the game. That's a thing. That's a thing you can do. It's an iPhone game, or an Android game, whatever. It's easy to uninstall. God,